Good afternoon from the Circus Sports at the Mint Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Ross Johnston. Vanderbilt basketball took their first loss of the season last night as they fell to Texas 84-60 to move to 16-1 on the year. Vanderbilt will look to bounce back Saturday as they host number 19 Florida. In major NFL news, multiple sources reported that the Giants are finalizing an agreement with John Harbaugh to make him their new head coach, which makes them the first team in this offseason to find a new head coach with 8 vacancies still open around the league. The Titans have a few in-person interviews scheduled for the end of this week. Tomorrow, Brian Daboll interviews. On Saturday, Mike McCarthy interviews. And on Sunday, Jonathan Gannon. Lastly, in NFL playoff news, the Buffalo Bills ruled out cornerback Maxwell Hairston and safety Jordan Poyer for Saturday's game against the Denver Broncos. For all your foundation repair, waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans of Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is number. Blaine, at the top of the show yesterday, you asked me how you would play out how I would play out the New York Giants negotiations if I was John Harbaugh.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Did you peg it perfectly?
I freaking nail it, or did I freaking nail it?
Oh, you nailed it. You nailed it.
I know that he was going back home to his wife, and so they didn't spend a night in New York, like I said. But he
was on the play headed back home, and the Titans are going to meet him, and next thing you know, our contract is done.
I knew when it was announced that the Titans were the ones flying up to meet him.
Yeah,
I was like, it's a done deal. Come on. And man, the victory lap the Titans Twitter took when Harbaugh actually left New York.
I did not.
They all started celebrating and all this kind of stuff. And then I'm in bed. I'm literally about to go to sleep. I'm finishing. It's Comic Book Wednesday, so I'm finishing up my last comic book before I go to bed.
All right.
And that notification hit, and I was up for another hour. I woke up the wife and go, hey, that coach I was telling you about, John Harbaugh, he chose New York.
Yeah. I started like, ooh, this could be a possibility. But is it? That's what
we say all
until
week.
He meets with the brass. I believe it. He didn't even get to that.
And I was
tried.
They tried. I mean, they were willing to fly up there and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, once that was announced, I was like, I don't think they have a shot still, but maybe he will actually meet with them, and maybe they can change his mind. Because I was pretty still certain that even meeting them and going up there, it's 99% still going to be the Giants. You just may be that 1%, and sometimes, hey, the 1% wins, right? Yeah. But in this instance, I was actually waiting first to see. When they said that he was flying back, I was waiting to see if the New York Giants were going to tweet out they fired Joe Schoen.
No, and I saw a picture with him and Joe Schoen at the restaurant, and they were looking happy-go-lucky.
They were.
I was like, oh.
But that's what I was expecting, because I was expecting the Giants were going to get maybe that was the holdup is what I was expecting.
Right,
So I was like, any minute now we're going to see that Joe Schoen's fired tweet, and then we know that Harbaugh's going there. But in fact, they didn't even have to fire Joe Schoen.
Dang.
And everybody's like, well, they don't have to use leverage. They offered him, the Titans leverage, they offered him everything that he wanted. I said, but everything that you read about it said they were in negotiations. Mm-hmm. So when you're still in negotiations, you still have leverage to maybe get that one last little check mark that you really, really want off your list.
What do you think that was for him? The last thing?
I know Joe Schoen's not fired, but I wonder if it's power.
Mm. Yeah, I said that would be part of his MO the whole way. I did get that part right.
Yeah.
Because, you want to be connected with the GM. So I didn't think Shane, I thought Shane would be gone and he'd hired his own guy, get the Alexander guy, right? That's his name?
Yeah.
Alexander from Green Bay, assistant GM up there. So, that was, dang, I was still holding out just a sliver of hope for the Titans.
And I don't, hope I'm with you. I was hoping that something would come up that would really make me want to change my mind. Like, give me a foot in the door. Because that really, the interview, the Titans flying up there, really didn't change anything for me. Because I was like, you're flying up to meet him. He's not going to come down, see the facilities, tour Nashville. Because you got to sell the community. You want to sell the community too. Nashville itself is a good selling point. The city for your wives and the surrounding area and your family and stuff like that. So I'm not saying that they lost or going up there was a bad move or anything. I was just like, it just doesn't seem like this is going to really happen in the Titans.
Meanwhile, the Giants had done that. Flew down to Baltimore, a couple of days or so before that. So they were on their sales pitch early on, and there was a built-in relationship.
Yeah.
So there's somewhat trust built there. So yeah, but now moving forward. Who is at the top of the list?
It's the same people that was at the top of the list even before Harbaugh.
That's why I wanted to focus on that. Just in case. If we can get an all-pro coach, that would have been great. But, hey, these other coaches, there's still some good ones, man.
I mean, you still got Mike McCarthy, who's going to meet with the Titans on Saturday in person. Yeah. You got Brian Daboll meeting in person tomorrow.
Meet him over there to help him with
I guess
interviews.
Not.
me and you.
I mean, they really may need us here.
Interview questions.
Yeah.
Ross would come with us, too.
Yeah, well Ross would be, he's already got had his questions submitted for the Art Smith one yesterday.
Is that, you want Arthur Smith?
No. Well, I was also worried that they wouldn't be able to do the interview on Zoom because of the Verizon.
That is true. I did not get any text messages till like 9 o'clock last night. My Verizon never kicked back on for whatever reason.
I think that was a sign. Yeah. Like after they interviewed McDaniel.
I know that man, how did that bother you? I know it did.
Well, I had the Wi-Fi, but for whatever reason, I couldn't text. So, right. And so, I couldn't, if I'm in a group chat, but I only want to talk to one person, I couldn't talk to that one person, and all that kind of stuff. So, it was just a little bit of a hassle. So I just decided to watch TV, put the phone away, just watch TV for a while. So
I just connected to my Wi-Fi at my house, and I got everything I needed.
Yeah, so iPhones, apparently, this is the drawback for Android.
It went whoop. Yeah. I was like, oh, my God.
So apparently this is the drawback for Android, is that Android's messaging services and data does not allow you to make calls or texts when you only have Wi-Fi. You have to have some kind of cellular service. But for Apple products, it is. Learned that last night. Yeah. Made me a little mad at Android. That's for sure.
I used to be an Android. Android's, just getting the hype, but it's more of a computer in your hand than iPhone, in my opinion. I've had both.
Yeah,
iPhone is easier, but the Android, I feel like I had a computer.
Yeah, you could do so much with an Android that... And really, Android's technology is always a little bit further ahead than Apple, too.
Yeah, that shows you just the sales of and what's more popular, how the iPhone kind of took over there. But being that I was a long-time customer of Android, but it was, things to make sure all of our was on the same
all your devices are a lot more, can communicate with each other on Apple. That's the one thing I do miss.
Yeah.
Okay, so I look at this coaching situation, and really not much has changed in terms of obviously who's available. We still have not heard when Chris Shula is going to interview or Cliff Kingsbury is going to interview. Those requests have been submitted, but we haven't heard back from either of those candidates so far.
I don't know. It's interesting because he's unemployed. Correct?
Right. So now there has been some like Nick Suss of the Tennessean. What do you say? Recently, earlier this week on 440 Sports was saying that, he's heard conflicting reports whether they've actually requested Cliff Kingsbury.
Oh.
So I went back and looked, and it's like 3 insiders said he did request, 3 other insiders haven't said that. And so it's kind of split. And now Chris Shula was pretty universal, but hasn't been scheduled yet. Now, he hasn't scheduled, to my knowledge, anywhere else either with any of the other requests, so maybe he's just waiting until it's all said and done. But I do find it a little weird that Cliff Kingsbury has not had anything happen with that yet. And maybe they were waiting for Harbaugh, but I mean, you can't just, stop, because they didn't schedule. They kept scheduling other people and kept Thursday open, obviously.
But has Cliff had an interview with anybody?
Yeah, he's had a few interviews. So I don't think that there may be a possibility that Cliff Kingsbury has not formally requested, or A, has not been formally requested, or B, is not accepting.
Well, he could also maybe he interview and they just don't want to announce that maybe they hired him already. Not the Titans.
Yeah. Someone else.
An interview that he's already done.
Could be.
I don't know that because I don't even know who he interviewed with. Do you recall?
I'll have to look it up because I'm not 100% sure on that. But obviously, nothing's really changed. I mean, I know that a lot of people had the hope of John Harbaugh, but like we said, actions speak louder than words. And it just never seemed like it was going to materialize. And everybody kind of got swept up in Harbaugh mania for, it was a nice little side trip. I loved being able to talk John Harbaugh and the possibilities of the Tennessee Titans.
That was exciting.
So I guess for me, PK reported today that it's going to be for the second round, roughly 3 to 4 candidates, at most 5 candidates that make it to the second round. So that they're going to go from a list of potentially 18 candidates all the way down to 5 for the second round. In-person interviews can start with any team that is out of the playoffs starting January 19th. So all the virtual people that they did, like Matt Nagy, Robert Saleh, Jesse Minter, Jeff Hafley, if those Jeff Hafley's obviously out of the playoffs, but if the San Francisco 49ers lose on Saturday and his virtual meeting goes well on Sunday, he can come in for an in-person interview right then and there. But if, like, say, Chris Shula,
who's requested by the Steelers, too.
Who's requested by the Steelers. He's been requested by, I think, almost everybody at this point. But if Chris Shula wins his game, so you may want to be rooting against the Rams if you're a Titans fan, but if he wins his game, you can't interview him. No in-person interviews. So, I mean, it's going to be a little tricky depending on what you want to do. Do they wait? Are they patient? That's the big question because I don't know. Because, I mean, they were pretty... I mean, if you're willing to have Amy fly out over to here, to Nashville, and then fly up to Baltimore, you obviously know roughly what the numbers are, right? And you obviously have at least thought to yourselves, you guys have a shot of some sort, whether it's a long shot or whatever, you kind of think that. So they're willing to go big. I think you can say that. Now, who do you go big for now? There is not that candidate anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were willing to go big. Yeah, they were going to swing for the fences if they had a shot. So, yeah. I'm interested to see, you talked about patience, and that's really big. I don't know if you interview a couple candidates that you like, and you're still waiting on the guys that are still involved.
Yeah.
Do you want to start acting in that direction because you like what you're hearing and seeing and what you feel part of this organization? Do you start moving forward with that? That's where I'd be conflicted.
It is very conflicting because
you don't know what you don't have until you interview.
Well, and when you go down there and scouting, at the Senior Bowl or this and that, because I mean the Super Bowl's after the Senior Bowl, right? Championship games and everything, like you got all that stuff, and you're having to focus on every player instead of maybe going ahead and eliminating some players here and there. Or you don't know what players you're really trying to scout for certain systems and stuff. And then you still got to build a staff, right? So not only do you have to get the hire, the longer you wait to get the hire, the longer you wait to build the staff. How much of that dries up? Like, because, I mean,
gets hired by somebody. That's what I'm talking about. Kingsbury.
I think Mike McDaniel's a good one. If Mike McDaniel doesn't get the Titans job, or he knows he's not getting the Titans job, and he knows he's not getting the Ravens job, is he going to wait around to see if his buddy Robert Saleh gets the job, or is he going to go to Detroit, like you said, or Tampa Bay?
Mm-hmm.
Just saying, like, it's a tricky situation. I don't think there's one size fits all kind of answer in this pool. I don't know. You've interviewed everybody but Chris Shula. You would have to be pretty convinced, based off the research you've already done since October, that Chris Shula is worth waiting around for. You'd have to be pretty convinced if you're going to do that route. If you view him through your research as a guy that still has to win you over and you're just kind of feeling him out and stuff, you may not want to risk waiting if you already know you like someone else. That's tough, isn't it?
Yeah. Ooh. I feel like that's where we're going to be.
Yeah. It's not a great situation, but also the only hire is John Harbaugh. And everybody else feels like they're lagging behind the Titans in their first round interview process. So you may still be ahead of the curve, but we'll see when the second round starts because maybe everybody already pared down their list and they're not going to cast as wide a net as the Titans do.
Where are the Falcons right now? Do we know?
I think they've only got like 8 head coaching interviews. I'll pull that up because I know I have a good resource where I can pull that up.
I'm thoroughly waiting on the chart that shows how many each team has interviewed and where they're at in their interview process.
I don't have that chart. And the reason
I'm
I
waiting
don't,
for you to post
that. So the reason I don't is because at Titans Film Room, Justin Graver, who does Music City Audible with Justin Mello, he has that chart. So that's one chart I did not have to do.
Oh. Well,
so let me see if I can find it.
I've got the Falcons so far.
Okay, what do you got?
Might be missing somebody, but we got Jeff Hafley, Stefanski, Mike McDaniel, Kubiak, Aiden Durd. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes.
From Seahawks, and then Anthony Weaver. And then Harbaugh.
And these are just requests, by the way.
Okay. I'm going to ask another question.
So they've actually had 12. Okay, here we go.
12.
So 12 interview requests for the Falcons. 11 for the Giants. Of course, they hired John Harbaugh. Mm-hmm. The Browns have requested 9. The Raiders have requested 11. The Cards have requested 13. The Ravens, 15. Dolphins, 9. Steelers, 4. And, of course, the Tennessee Titans are at 18. I'm not including Harbaugh like his list does because they didn't get there.
And what if someone else is added to the list?
Yeah, could be. Hey, listen, Matt LaFleur gets fired.
That's what I'm talking about.
They can't come to an contract. Agreement.
Yes. And so you also have some familiarity of them.
And you're wearing green. I know that you're trying to.
Everybody thinks I have on all black. That's just my hat. My hoodie is dark green.
Yeah, you're trying to effort. You're putting the good vibes out there that he's going to get fired today.
Yeah, the green.
And you got the green microphone cover here.
I would be in for LaFleur. I definitely would.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. All right, coming up next, we're going to go to your phone, 615-737-1045. Talk to us about how you feel about the John Harbaugh situation. We'll also kind of I got 4 former head coaches that are Tennessee Titans candidates, and we're going to do a little blind resume and see which one you guys, including the callers and including those on Twitter, think has the best resume. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone. Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Door, and broadcasting live from the 104.5 The Zone Circus Sports Studio. Kentucky's largest sports book can now be found at Circus Sports in Kentucky Downs. And let's go to the phones. Let's go to Donald in Nashville. Donald, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
What's going on, fellas? How's your day going?
Good. How are you?
Good afternoon.
Pretty good, pretty good. Hey, Blaine, I just want to say this real quick, man. I don't know if you remember. Well, of course you remember. It's the biggest moment of your life, Super Bowl. You came back. News Channel 5 just put the sky cams on top of the Bell South building, and they showed us y'all getting off the airplane, getting on the buses, and y'all came down to the stadium. I lived on Shelby Street at that time, and I ran in like 28-degree weather from South 12 all the way down to the stadium. You high-fived me, man, and I just want you to know, dude, you made me feel like I was part of that. You made me feel like I was part of y'all. I got to touch the AFC Championship trophy, everything, bro.
That was after we beat the Jaguars.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
That was a fun time there, man.
I'm a local carrier here in Nashville, and that's the reason why I'm calling. I don't have any input on the head coach. I just hope it all works out. But I just moved out. The guy that was over all of the audio, the mariachi band, when we scored a touchdown, they just fired him and got rid of him, and I just moved his office out and took it to his house in East Nashville. So, with that being said, maybe we'll get us some Renegade to get our players hype in the third quarter, or maybe we'll get some hype music after a touchdown that'll keep our blood pumping and keep us on 100. But I'm happy about that. That's just something for the Titans fan base. But you guys, I love y'all very much. I love the show. Listen to y'all every day. Finally got to talk to you, Blaine, after 26 years. Yes, sir. I love y'all very much, man. Y'all have a great day.
Thanks, Donald.
Yeah, I think we're going to have Ross apply for that.
Mariachi band? To get the crowd hype, whatever?
Man, the hype music.
I'm used to make it.
I mean, he does a good job on our show.
Yeah, he does. I think you should apply.
DJ Ross.
Seen
DJ Mojo Rojo.
Somebody's gone viral on TikTok for like the Titans game day experience with all the country music that's played in between each down. Like Cam Ward gets sacked and they start playing Luke Combs or something. We might need to change that a little bit.
Okay. So you already have some ideas you have in mind.
Some more rap in there.
It's almost like he's been preparing for this.
Yeah, I think he is.
Put my 2 weeks in yesterday.
He put his 2 weeks in.
Put my 2 weeks in.
Hey, man, you got to think big.
Yeah.
You got to think big, man.
Well, we want the best game day experience in the NFL, man. They're waiting until the new stadium,
I know it is. They're going to have fireworks and everything.
Yep.
Pyrotechnics, all that good stuff.
No fire, but fireworks.
I don't know. Sometimes they like to have a fire on the field. That was hot. I could feel that all the way up into the suite we were in. I mean,
crazy.
That was so hot. It was insane.
Oh, that was historic.
I think they do need to change some things up. I mean, it's not my place to really talk about it, but just,
Well, you're
a
fan?
Yeah, but I haven't been to a game in a while.
Well, this is why.
It's because I work on Sundays. But for game day experience, I mean, all that stuff is important. And obviously, we've had a dip in fan attendance this year. So
most in the NFL, almost 10%.
10%. They had the most dip.
Yeah, they dipped 9.8% in game attendance this year. And not only that large of a dip actually affected the entire NFL's attendance.
Oh, my. So they're blaming the Titans.
Well, the Titans and a few other teams, but the Titans mainly at 9.8. Yeah, it's bad.
Oh, man.
Yep. I mean, not even the opposing team's fans wanted to come watch the game.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you think that?
Go ahead.
Do you think that's why they were so? We're going to go after Harbaugh, and it will be worth the money because of the name recognition that comes with that.
I think they thought that the investment in John Harbaugh would be worth it to get season tickets. The last of those season tickets sold. Because
it's a business.
We've heard a lot of callers call in, and they have said that they're a little on the fence about getting tickets to the new stadium and renewing their PSLs for that new stadium. And I would bet. Let me tell you this. I at least know this. Don, the guy that texted everybody after Brian Callahan got fired because they said they wouldn't buy tickets until Brian Callahan was fired. That guy, Don, he'd be texting everybody if they hired John Harbaugh. Say, hey, we hired John Harbaugh. Let's get those season tickets sold.
Hey, you remember his name and everything.
Pretty sure it's Don.
Didn't they sell out that? You know how they're doing the mosh pit thing at the new stadium? I think they sold that out. Did they not?
Oh, I have no clue.
I have no idea.
But that's only a portion of the stadium.
Yeah. I think that's also the cheapest portion of the stadium, if I'm not mistaken, but I'm not for sure on that. All right, let's go to Jeremiah in Clarksville. Jeremiah, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Hey, thanks for taking my call, guys. Man, I got a football riddle for y'all, man. It should put a smile on your face. All right, let me ask you a question. You got a quarterback, you got a halfback, and you got a fullback. But there only one time has there ever been a three quarterback. Do you know who that was?
A what?
A three quarterback?
A three quarterback?
Yeah.
Who?
What team?
The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Oh.
Y'all have a good one.
All right, thank you, Jeremiah.
All the way from Clarksville.
All the way from Clarksville.
That was good, I guess. I don't know.
All right. Okay, so we got it up on Twitter.
My back is hurting.
At Blaine and Zach on Twitter. Is that because you jumped in that chair?
No, my upper back has been killing me today, man. It's just, oh, man, I don't know what. I think I was lifting a little too heavy weight.
Yeah. You want me to get Jackson to come in here, give you a little massage?
Oh, I don't know.
The Hunchback of Cover 2.
Yeah, you'll be the Hunchback of Cover 2.
Yeah.
All right. So up at Cover 2, Twitter, at Blaine and Zach on Twitter. I had no clue how this was going to roll out or anything. I just chose, the Titans are interviewing 14 candidates that have been head coach before.
Oh, that's so exhausting.
So I chose about 4 head coach candidates, and I put up a blind resume. And what I did is compared them to each other, not compared to the NFL or anything, but compared to each other and ranked them 1 through 4 in some categories. You got Coach A, Coach B, Coach C, Coach D. And if you're on YouTube, you should be able to see the graphic. We look at that. We are advancing this show in terms of technology.
Ooh, look at that, Ross. Oh, man.
Hey, wouldn't you say?
Now, Ross only clicked a button.
I know, Zach did the hard
We're
work.
giving you all the credit, Ross.
No, it was all Zach. But wouldn't you say, Zach, too?
Zach didn't do anything for this exercise.
These are like, we don't know for sure, but these 4 guys are probably the 4 most likely, if you had to guess, or up there, I would say.
Up there. I would say that they are up there.
Yeah.
I think if you're talking about second round guys, these would be some of them.
So these are the tiers that the Titans are using too, by the way.
Maybe. So we got 4 categories: win-loss percentage, offensive rank. That's their yards per game and the points per game combined to see what they would look like. Defensive rank, and then experience as either a head coach or coordinator in the NFL. Just years of experience.
Dang.
So I ranked them 1 through 4 compared to each other. Coach A is 3rd in win-loss percentage, 3rd in offensive rank, 2nd in defensive rank, and has the 3rd most head coaching or coordinating experience. Coach B is 4th in win-loss, 4th in offensive rank, 3rd in defensive rank, and has the most, so number 1, head coaching or coordinating experience. Coach C is 1st in win-loss percentage, 2nd in offensive rank, 1st in defensive rank, 2nd in, they have the 2nd most coordinating head coach experience. And then Coach D, 2nd in win-loss percentage, 1st in offensive rank, 4th in defensive rank, and has the least amount of head coaching, offensive coordinator, and defensive coordinator experience. So that is the 4. We're going to keep that up on YouTube right now. So the question is, which of these 4, the blind resumes, do you think has the best resume that you would consider them for the Tennessee Titans job? Not hire them, but consider them more than the other 3. Now, I know it's going to be fairly obvious which one most people are going to pick, but maybe you value something more than the other. Maybe you don't value defensive rank as much as you value offensive rank. Maybe you don't care about experience as much as you care about win-loss percentage. So Ross actually knows he didn't want to wait to play the game. Mm-hmm. So he already knows. So Blaine.
He knows
all 4 coaches, who they are.
Oh.
So my question to you, Blaine, do you want to make a guess at what 4 coaches we're talking about here?
Do I want to make a guess?
If not, you don't have to play.
This is like an interactive presentation in high school.
I know. And see, I don't like the setup because there's a huge human element part that, to me, when you're interviewing people, besides looking at their numbers, you can't really get to there. I can make a guess on who the coaches are. Yeah. But, I mean, I don't know if
we'll get to the larger discussion.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
Because most fans only really go off this kind of a resume. But I'm with you that there is also a larger conversation to be had about each of these four candidates.
Okay, let's go McCarthy.
Okay. McCarthy is not on the list.
Oh, my.
I did not include McCarthy because I felt like that would be a little bit of a leg up on everybody else.
Okay, Nagy.
Nagy is Coach C. He has got the best resume. Matt Nagy, according to this, blind resume, Matt Nagy has the best resume.
And he's blowing away the Twitter poll and the chat right now.
Well, it's because, he's 1 and 2 in the categories.
1 and 2, yeah.
Now, I did not expect that, by the way, when I came up with this. This was not preconceived to make sure that Nagy was going to be the one. But, I'm not surprised.
And he has the relationship with the GM.
Coach B, who has the third-ranked defense but the most experience, that's actually Robert Saleh.
Oh, okay.
He had the third best defense out of these four coaches. Coach A is Kevin Stefanski, very middle of the road. And Coach D, with the second best win-loss percentage and number one offense, is Mike McDaniel. Now, this is a blind resume. And the reason I want to do the blind resume, because I just want to reiterate, Blaine, and I know you agree, Matt Nagy's not as bad as what everybody tends to say.
With the fan base, yeah.
Yeah.
Because everybody just remembers when he got fired.
Yeah. Right. And listen, there's people out there that are already saying this would be the worst coaching hire in the Tennessee Titans history after just having Brian Callahan, by the way.
Who's the person that said that?
You go through on Twitter. There's all kinds of people. And then there is also people that said that they are going to do a Greg Schiano, and riot and try to get the Titans to overturn if it is Matt Nagy. Now, the big part of this is all great. This is all resume. This is what they did as a head coach. But this is not technically who they are as a head coach, right? To your point.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot more to this. And that's the part that we don't really know. We hear stories. There's anonymous stories, right? Everybody that gets fired or everybody that parts way with an organization, there's about 13 articles filled with 100 anonymous sources that all conflict with each other. So one set of sources say this about a person, another set of sources will conflict that. So we don't really know. But if you are a fan and you're going off at least these four, because obviously Mike McCarthy has the best resume, and I would probably venture to guess Jason Garrett probably has the second best resume, even above these guys in these categories. Just a guess. I don't know.
Not Arthur Smith, huh?
No, not Arthur Smith. He probably would be in the mix, though, in some of these. He would be in the mix with these guys. I mean, Art Smith and these four guys are pretty much almost all the same coach. The only differentiator is really how they handle being a head coach. And that's something that we repeat it over and over again on this show. That's something that we, the fans, won't know. Because a lot of fans, including myself, thought that Brian Callahan would more than often than not probably turn out to be a successful head coach here. And he did not, because there were things that he could not handle as head coach. Putting it nicely.
I never did say that.
I know you didn't, but I'm just saying.
I was hoping for the best.
Yeah, hoping for the best. But I really thought, this is kind of how I viewed it, Blaine. And she's since changed.
But I get how a lot of people did. It was just like, I got to see him call some plays.
Right.
I was never all in on that until I see it.
You probably would have been able to change my mind had I been on the radio before he got hired during the whole process, because we would have talked through it kind of like we've talked through most of these candidates.
But he checks a lot of boxes.
He checks so many boxes. I mean, he's been in the league for forever. He's grew up in this league. He had, so much different, points of success. But to your point, and something I never really thought about until we started doing this show together, is like, but how many of those guys were already going to be that guy regardless of if he was quarterback coach or not? So how much of that did he actually implement? How much of that did he actually do on a day-to-day basis side of the bill? What were his actual responsibilities?
It's like recruiting now with the transfer portal. Now with all guys coming in, you got that on your resume as a coach, but did you really coach? He came right in and started. He had already learned what he needed to learn before he even got to you. But you got him on your resume as one of the guys that got drafted.
Right. It's crazy, right?
Like, so how much did you really help the guy?
It's just funny, too, how, like, national perception changes things, too, because, like you were saying, you look at this list, you don't know anything, you're taking C all day.
Yeah.
But then you hear it's Matt Nagy, and you hear the other coach, you're like, oh, give me D or give me B, whoever it would be.
Because
right?
that's the bias creeping in.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I kind of want to illustrate is that, again, Matt Nagy's a distant 5 for me. Like, my top 4 are pretty all far away from Nagy at number 5. I mean, my top 4, Jeff Hafley, Chris Shula, Mike McCarthy, Mike McDaniel. That's my top 4. I don't know if that's going to be the Titans' top 4 or not, but that's my top 4. And they're pretty distant from number 5. But what I'm saying is that the bias that comes into effect is that the excuses made on behalf of Kevin Stefanski, the excuses made on the behalf of Robert Saleh, why they didn't work out, are the same excuses that are being used against Matt Nagy. And for everything you guys want to say about Matt Nagy, I just want to say this again. This Mike McDaniel is actually lumped in here. They both ended their careers above 500. Robert Saleh wasn't even above 400 in win percentage. Kevin Stefanski below 400. Now, there's a lot of context to that, but just when you talk about how similar some of these situations were in different areas and how they maybe Nagy struggled with communication, whereas Saleh struggled with paranoia, where Kevin Stefanski struggled with relating to players, where Mike McDaniel maybe struggled holding players accountable, right? Like, we don't know really all that stuff, but when you talk about all that stuff, it all evens out. So this idea that we need to start a riot if Matt Nagy is fired,
this is a real thing. This is not a real thing.
It is a real thing. I mean, I'm actually pretty.
I've only heard
surprised.
That like in college football,
right? Like, people forget the Bears were just as dysfunctional until they reshaped and got Ben Johnson as everybody else, like the Jets. The Bears have a history, but they were considered a pretty dysfunctional franchise for a time being. The Jets and the Browns, obviously dysfunctional, but all the head coaches have kind of contributed to that in some form or fashion. Miami is just kind of like, I guess, an average NFL franchise. I don't really consider them dysfunctional, I guess, even though there is that tanking rumor. You know what I'm saying? That happened with Brian Flores and all that.
Yeah. They're usually fairly competitive, I would say, traditionally over the years.
And listen, Mike McDaniel's made them far more competitive. So, I mean, again, like, this idea that you absolve a coach of all blame that led to the dysfunction. I mean, I bet at this, Blaine, and tonight on Football Nerve F-Words, I'm going to hopefully have the data, but like, I bet Robert Saleh's draft classes beat most of these other head coaches' draft classes. I bet he had better draft classes than most of these other guys. Contributors to starts, value of the team and all that kind of stuff.
Based off of his time with the Jets?
Yes.
So how much say so did he have with
what I'm saying classes? is that I'm not using that as a plus for talent acquisition, by the way. I'm using that as a plus to say he probably had more talent, high-end talent more than everybody else, and he had a worse win-loss record than everybody else.
Because he couldn't get the quarterback right.
Yeah. And listen, development of quarterback is under the purview of the head coach, regardless of your defense or offense. Yes, that is under your purview. Mm-hmm. And again, that's another thing that can worry you. Who wasn't able to make it work with three different instances of quarterbacks. That could worry you about it could worry you about Matt Nagy because they drafted Justin Fields, right? Now, whether he wanted Justin Fields or not, whoever knows. Same with Zach Wilson and Robert Saleh. But they couldn't develop him. They couldn't make it work. Now, neither of those quarterbacks have gone on to do anything else anywhere. But, I mean, there you go. There's examples of young quarterbacks not really developing in most of these guys, except for Mike McDaniel, who took Tua to new heights, and then Tua injuries just piled up.
Sam Darnold?
Sam Darnold would be
He was
Who would he
before
be with?
Saleh.
Yeah, he was before
No,
Saleh.
I know he's before Saleh, but we're seeing a quarterback being developed.
Yeah, I'm trying to
At
figure out
some
who
point,
would be.
you
I
got,
guess
O'Connell.
Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because he put up better numbers last
Well,
year.
So how do
technically-
you guys view that?
maybe
That-
the Panthers technically get a little bit of help
that
there.
once he got away from the Jets, all of a sudden everybody's saying, "Oh, now he's starting to look like, the pick we thought he could be." Because when you watch him in his workout, his arm was fantabulous. He's got an incredible arm. Now that doesn't mean he have in between years what all you need, but through that whole process, I kept saying I like Sam Darnold because he was 20 years old now, by the way, when he got drafted to the Jets. I mean, that is tough to deal with, that market, that kind of pressure. So once he got away from that, then all of a sudden he just looked good. And you could talk about the Panthers. That's kind of dysfunctional there, too, as well. See, so it could have been just he wasn't quite ready for the snowstorm that was going to be hit being the quarterback.
He probably would be a perfect case for a guy that would have benefited from not starting his first year.
Right, because he was still
Because he was super young, too. Yeah, to your point.
And again, probably I'm not saying he would be anything great, but if he were on the Jets, say today, he'd probably be better than when he was first on the Jets originally, just because of experience
I'm not saying he
and
would have
growth.
been superstar, but he would have been at least, average. Not looking like, oh my God, this guy's no way ever going to be a starting quarterback.
I think and it's what Zach always talks about with the coach. I think it's a lot of just the situation you're put in. Sam Darnold has been put in better situations recently.
Oh, what was it? Adam Gase was his the guy that drafted him, or was it Joe Philbin? I can't remember. No, Joe Philbin was up there. Was Todd Bowles then Adam Gase? I think Todd Bowles drafted him, and then Adam Gase came in the year after. I believe that was the case. But it was just that's not two coaches known for developing quarterbacks, right? And bad rosters, bad situations. Like I say, every situation, not only for a quarterback or a player on any team, but also for head coaches, has so much context that you can't just make a sweeping. Listen, how many fans do you know that after a coach got fired? Think about the entirety of the NFL, or just think about the University of Tennessee, that were like, dang, I wish we would have kept him. Fans are always going to talk bad about large majority of fans are always going to talk bad about the guy that got fired. You know why he got fired? Because he stunk for the most part. And his time there was ending. So relying on fan intel to influence your decisions doesn't really make a lot of sense, because guess what? Those fans know as much as you do about your team as they do their team. You all don't know what's going on behind the scenes. You only see a surface level. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes sometimes. We may have a little bit more inkling than more, but we weren't there in Kansas City. We weren't there in Buffalo or in Chicago. Yeah. We weren't there in New York.
But he did get Mitch Trubisky to play pretty well.
That's what I'm saying.
Better than he ever has.
For that?
Better than he ever has. And then Mitch Trubisky, you got the one little bump that Mitch Trubisky just turned into who he was. And it's likely always going to be, by the way, 15 starts. Not trying to say Try Simpson's Mitch Trubisky. He's much better than Mitch Trubisky. But that was a guy that only had 13 or 15 starts.
I didn't like it. Yeah, North Carolina.
And he was not a refined quarterback.
No. He only started that 1 year. The other guy that started in front of him for the majority of 3 years before that didn't even get drafted.
I know. All right, we got to go to commercial, but when we come back, we'll go to Danny and Greg. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone.
And he didn't beat him out.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors, 615-737-1045. Let's go to Danny in Murfreesboro. Danny, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Hey, Blaine and Zach, really great information. There was something about your evaluation of your hindsight evaluation of Callahan that I really enjoyed. It's, was he just there with those guys, or was there a correlation or causality with the quarterbacks he coached? And I wondered with, that evaluation, if you've applied that to the new candidates, and I'm thinking particularly of Mike McCarthy. How many seasons as a head coach did he coach without a quarterback named Aaron Rodgers or Dak Prescott? And does that factor into your evaluation, putting him in your top 4 candidates?
That's a good question, Danny, because, that's a lot of the conversation around Mike McCarthy. Now, I don't know the exact percentage of winning seasons without one of those two guys, but I do know there's at least, I can think of at least one season with the Packers and the two bookends at the Cowboys where I believe Dak Prescott and Aaron Rodgers weren't there, and they were those were the losing seasons. Now, what you're hoping, though, is that Cam Ward is better than Cooper Rush. Cam Ward is better than Deshaun Kaiser. Cam Ward is better than, I believe, Andy Dalton, I think, started a few games for the Cowboys one year with Mike McCarthy. Oh. Like, you're hoping that Cam Ward is maybe not Aaron Rodgers and Dak Prescott, but is at least closer to them than he is the backups that Mike McCarthy had.
They didn't have some of their best seasons with McCarthy?
No, he did, but
okay.
what he's asking, what about the seasons without Dak Prescott?
Oh.
When he's injured? What without Aaron Rodgers? Like, what did Mike McCarthy do in those seasons? And I think there's at least one with the Packers that I can remember. I think it was a collarbone injury that maybe an AC joint injury that Rodgers tried to play through, and Deshaun Kaiser had to start a few games. And then there was two, the bookend seasons, because there's 3 12-5 seasons bookend between 2 losing record seasons with the Cowboys.
Well, here's how I would view it. When you're coaching elite players like those guys we're talking about, Dak Prescott, Aaron Rodgers, who are phenomenal players, did he elevate their play? Or did they stay stagnant and stay the same when he became a part of their career? Because obviously they were going to be good. Now, that's why I asked that. I wouldn't be so more worried about what he did without those guys. I want to know, did you enhance their ability when you're dealing with elite players? Naturally, there's going to be a big drop-off when you're talking about Cooper Rush and all these different guys. Like, that's like saying my man Brandon Allen. So obviously they're going to have a drop-off. But did he elevate them? And if he didn't, that's cool too. But I would love to hear his dialogue and experience dealing with someone who was an MVP candidate like Aaron Rodgers, and how did you deal with that, and his ego, your ego, and how did that, working relationship, coexist together? That's always something there, because ultimately the quarterback is the voice of the offense and can change plays and put them in different things. And how did you handle that? And when things went good or bad? And so, yeah, I think I would probably look at that a little bit differently. From each coach is a little bit different, because you don't know if they coached an elite quarterback. How much influence did you have? Well, probably not a lot. Like, I knew a friend of mine who was Drew Brees' quarterback's coach. And I said, man, well, how much did you do? He said, what do you mean? I was like, how much did you do? He said, I did whatever Drew Brees told me to do.
That was the question. That was the thing.
So I made sure I had all the information for him. He would get there and want all his information by 4 a.m.
Yeah.
What? He said, well, yeah, that's probably what I do. Now, you talking about me trying to coach him after he's been in the league. I'm following his lead, to be honest, and I'm learning things at the same time. So that way, when I'm working with a quarterback that's not at his level, I understand what I'm dealing with. So ultimately, that's why I asked that question. Did you elevate them?
Well, let's talk about that when we come back, because I'll pull up some stats here, and we'll see how that maybe they may be elevated. We just go on stats. We'll see.
Right.
We'll also go to Greg in Lebanon. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone.
Good afternoon from the Circus Sports of the Mint Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Ross Johnston. Vanderbilt basketball took their first loss of the season last night as they fell to Texas 84-60 to move to 16-1 on the year. Vanderbilt will look to bounce back Saturday as they host number 19 Florida. In major NFL news, multiple sources reported that the Giants are finalizing an agreement with John Harbaugh to make him their new head coach, which makes them the first team in this offseason to find a new coach, with 8 vacancies still open across the league. The Titans have a few in-person interviews scheduled for the end of this week. Tomorrow, Brian Daboll. On Saturday, Mike McCarthy. And on Sunday, Jonathan Gannon. All will interview in person. Lastly, in NFL playoff news, the Buffalo Bills ruled out corner Maxwell Harrison and safety Jordan Poyer for Saturday's game against the Denver Broncos. For all your foundation repair, waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans of Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by all Four Seasons Garage Doors, 615-737-1045. We're going to talk about Mike McCarthy and how he has been with the quarterbacks and what the quarterbacks have done with and without him. But first, let's go to the phones. Let's go to Greg and Lebanon. Greg, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Hey, Blaine, Zach, thank you very much for putting me on. Hey, I'm a transplant from the Chicago area, Chicago Bears fan.
Okay.
And have added the Titans to that list too. But when I heard the Matt Nagy game come up, it was like, oh, no way. But I really started thinking, why do I feel that way? So I wasn't in Chicago when Nagy was there. I called up my son, said, what's the deal with Nagy? And he said he's a really, really good coach, okay? And his first year with Trubisky, he really did an abbreviated playbook with him. And, Trubisky did real good. And I think he said that Nagy got Coach of the Year that year. I don't know if that's true. But then he said in the second year, he opened up the playbook and really wanted Mitch to learn all of the plays. And he said a lot of those plays didn't really play into Mitch's style. So it was a lot of square peg and round hole kind of a deal. And that is kind of where it went backwards.
That's good to know. Thank you for that information there, Greg.
One more thing.
Oh, go ahead.
One more thing I wanted to say, though, at the end of the day, though, Mitch hasn't gone anywhere and done anything.
That is true. He has not had the Sam Darnold kind of career. Thanks for that, Greg. The Sam Darnold kind of career, Baker Mayfield or Geno Smith kind of career.
Has he had a chance to be that opportunity? Did somebody luckily get hurt and get a shot in the game?
I mean, the Buffalo, he's had a few times where he's subbed in and has looked fine, but I mean, it's just been, he hasn't had, I think the most extended play time was at Pittsburgh, I believe. I think that was the longest time that he was able to go with some starts was Pittsburgh.
He's only spot played some this year.
Yeah, so Pittsburgh, surprisingly enough, he's never started a game for Buffalo, actually.
That's what I said. He's never got a chance.
I thought he had started. But now he did start for Pittsburgh and went 2-5. And give me 1 second.
Well, technically, he started last week or 2 weeks ago against the Jets. Allen took the first snap to keep his streak alive, but he played the whole game. So.
Okay. Yeah. But anyway, 64.1% completion percentage at Pittsburgh in his 7 starts.
That's not that bad. Huh?
Not bad. He had 8 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. And he was averaging 157 yards per game and 6.6 yards per attempt.
What year was it?
This was 2022 and 2023, so he would have been 28 and 29 years old, those 2 seasons. Because those were both seasons combined where he had 7 starts.
Who was the OC?
The OC, I think, was Matt Canada, if I'm not mistaken. At the time, it wasn't Art Smith.
Right.
It was... Matt Canada, and that was the year they fired Matt Canada in the middle of the season and replaced him the 2023 year. 2022 season was all Matt Canada. 2023 was some Matt Canada. Then they fired him for Eddie Faulkner, the running backs coach, to finish out the year. So there you go. Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the argument about the Aaron Rodgers argument, because what we see in the chat, what we've heard a few people say is that, well, what's Mike McCarthy without Hall of Fame player Aaron Rodgers? Well, Aaron Rodgers was drafted in the 2005 draft. And didn't play. He appeared in 3 games, but he didn't play 3 games. His rookie season. Mike McCarthy's hired in 2006. And again, Aaron Rodgers sat on the bench that year. They rode with Brett Favre. And so my question to you guys to you as well as the listeners and the people in the chat, does that not sound like that maybe Mike McCarthy, who had Aaron Rodgers on the bench in 2006 and 2007, does that not sound like maybe Hall of Fame Aaron Rodgers quarterback career probably coincides with the arrival of Mike McCarthy? Because nobody thought he was going to be this good. I mean, that's why he fell in the draft. Nobody thought he was going to be the Aaron Rodgers we see today. Now, I'm not trying to give all credit to Mike McCarthy, but this idea that Aaron Rodgers made Mike McCarthy, it seems a little bit more symbiotic than that, a give and take relationship, if you will.
Funny reminder, too, is Mike McCarthy actually was involved in passing up on Aaron Rodgers in the draft because he was the OC with the 49ers when they had that number 1 pick. So just kind of some irony.
He was, wasn't he?
But the one thing I think, and I think it was a mix.
West Coast guy.
I think it was a mix of McCarthy and Favre, honestly, because if y'all remember, when Aaron came out of college, how was he holding the football? That Jeff Tedford up, on the shelf style of throwing the football. And that completely changed over time. And I think that was a mixture of coaching and also kind of that was the arm angle Favre had. And, obviously we've seen it for the past 2 decades with Aaron and then guys now.
I shouldn't have started talking about Aaron Rodgers. We're going to get a whole oral history of Aaron Rodgers. That was all I was going to say, is I think it was a combination of both of them.
Yeah, I think that's always going to be that way. And then at some point, then Aaron Rodgers thought it was probably all him.
Yeah.
Because he got to a point where, hey, now I don't like some of the play selection. Now I want to change some of the plays. I don't like what we're running. Then he didn't like some of his pieces. I mean, all of those things. So.
And Dak's best years are with Mike McCarthy. Now, that doesn't mean that, Mike McCarthy developed him. He just took his game to another level. So, again, why is it such a bad thing that Mike McCarthy his game is attached to 2 quarterbacks when you are wanting to develop a quarterback? You, as a Tennessee Titans fan, are wanting better quarterback play. Mm-hmm. Seems like Mike McCarthy is a pretty safe bet that you're going to get some of the best quarterback play out there.
So then the other questions are, do we see his leadership style? Does he fit with this team? Pretty much a young, dominant team, and bring in leadership and those type of things and hard-nosed, tough coaching.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about the hard-nosed and tough coaching portion, but I do think that he has a standard that has to be met, and I think he does hold people accountable. And it may not be in the way that we prefer our leadership style.
Right, well,
but as long as it yields the results.
He's a great communicator. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think so.
My main question with him would be, can we trust him to get the defensive and special teams hires right? Now, obviously, like you would assume, he'd keep Bones Fossil here.
Well, he hired Bones Fossil at Dallas.
Defensively, though, they have never, after Green Bay won that Super Bowl, they never had a defense that was really up to par. Multiple guys came through, so, and that's not Mike McCarthy's side of the ball either. So could he get that hire right, get the right person in there?
So who are the defensive guys? I know it's a lot of them.
That's the exact question. I already know what you're going to ask.
Who's available that has some form of connection?
Here we go. You ready?
Do we have any connection?
Okay, so here would be some guys. Come on.
Oh, man.
Here we go. Okay, so here would be some guys that you could possibly look at. George Edwards, who is still floating around in the league. I believe he's down at Tampa Bay currently, who's been a long-time Todd Bowles kind of guy. You have Al Harris, Joe Witt, who's been kind of bounced around here and there. I think he's the guy that just got. I always get Joe Witt and Joe Woods confused. I think Joe Witt's the guy that just got fired from Dan Quinn, who was Commanders' defensive coordinator and play caller that Dan Quinn took over for. There's Patrick Graham, who's over with the Raiders. And then I'm not entirely sure where these two guys are at, but there's Ryan Downard and Jason Simmons as well. Ryan Downard is a name that kind of popped up on a bunch of different guys' little staff connections and stuff. But this could also be a situation where, okay, hey, maybe we give you Jonathan Gannon as defensive coordinator since we're interviewing him.
Right, that's what I'm talking about. Just some solid proven. Raheem Morris. Is there no connection with any? Just imagine that. And now you've covered yourself with the head coach, leadership, offensive play caller, and now you got a good defensive unit, Keith Fossil, special teams. Now you're rocking and rolling.
Yeah, because Raheem Morris is out there available, right? You interviewed him as head coach.
I like Gannon, too, was really good.
And Jonathan Gannon is out there. He's available and free. So there are two guys for defensive coordinators that you wouldn't have to pry away from another team that are available.
Yeah, that sounds okay with me. It's not going to be headliner for the fans if something like that goes down. But sometimes when it's not, it's sometimes the best thing.
It is.
And I just hope the organization, the Titans, don't get clouded by, the fan base and their reaction. Sometimes you get your third and fourth choice. Ask the Tennessee Vols fans about having their hypo guy.
Right.
He was not on their radar and was not happy. And then all of a sudden now they're happy. At least to a certain extent. The time may be ticking, though.
Yeah. And I know he gets a lot of grief over his offenses and stuff becoming, I guess, a little bland or boring, but they still have been tops in the league almost every year. So sometimes I know it's maybe bland and boring for you, but it still hurts the defense.
And all those West Coast guys, I don't see it as much in Shanahan, though, but he's a different form of West Coast. But some of those guys, especially old school under the Andy Reid, and all those guys that are connected from that West Coast, they always have game management issues, and you'll see it throughout the season.
The Shanahans are pretty bad about it. So
are they? Okay.
I looked at this over the weekend, actually.
I don't know why that becomes, I think because those play caller guys are so entrenched in that. They get lost. Andy Reid, when I was there, even did it live. And I was like,
well, that's why how you go to 3 Super Bowls or go to 3 NFC Championship games and don't get to the Super Bowl. There's always that one defining moment in the game where you're like, oh, what are you doing, coach? We can actually talk about that because I actually did some research on this over the weekend because it was something sparked about that because I have here about Shanahan and McVay tree and how they kind of handled their timeouts. Oh. I found an article. Apparently, there's good timeouts and bad timeouts, Blaine, and they've actually been able to quantify it.
Oh,
I couldn't believe it. And then there's how many times should a team go for it when they should? Mm-hmm. And I've been able to find that information.
Even when you're backed up on a 30?
Yeah. Well, it depends. How much win probability is that? All right. We'll do that. We're going to go to Brandon, Luke, and Mike when we come back. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone.
Luke Skywalker. Legendary coach Lou Holtz once said, before people spend money, they ask 3 questions. Can I trust you? Are you committed to excellence? And do you care about me? Hey, friends, it's Blaine Bishop for Eurofix. And Eurofix has built its business on answering those 3 questions with a bold yes. So back in 1999, owner Aaron Stokes was by himself in a 1-car garage in downtown Franklin. And a few months later, Aaron moved to a shop in a barn behind his house so he could stay close to his family while building his dream of offering the best service on European vehicles at below dealer pricing. So you fast forward to today, that barn's long gone and Eurofix is thriving with 5 locations and more to come in Nashville, Franklin, Belmead, Murfreesboro, Mount Juliet, and there will be more, as I said. So all work performed comes with a 3-year, 36,000-mile nationwide warranty, plus a rental car is available with every appointment. So go ahead and ask yourself, can you trust us? Do we care? And are we committed to excellence? And I think you'll say yes when you see how we treat you. So call today at 844-EUROFIX. That's right, 844-EUROFIX, or online at myEurofix.com. That's myEurofix.com.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by all Four Seasons Garage Stores, 615-737-1045. Let's go to the phones. Go to Brandon. Brandon, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Hey, what's going on, guys? How are you?
Doing good. How are you?
Doing well. So I got a theory about Harbaugh real quick. I don't know if anybody's throwing this out there or not. I think he had two different teams that he was choosing from, which was the New York Giants and the Titans. I don't think the Falcons were even in play, really. I think maybe the media kind of blew that up, and Miami didn't even really have a play. The reason why I say my theory is that John Harbaugh took New York over the Titans is because he wanted to get out of the AFC and wanted to join the NFC. That way, one, he didn't have to face the Ravens as much as he would if he was in the AFC, being in the NFC. And I think the reason why he did that also is because, I mean, they basically threw the red carpet at him. And we see what happens. But something else I want to add real quick, and I'll let you guys talk, is I think we need a defensive-minded coach. That's why I really like Saleh. But I think we really need to get back down to the bread and butter of this, and we need to create the running game, run to the pass, not the pass to the run, because when we were running the ball a lot more the way that we were doing, we were a more profitable team and more winning team than when we're trying to do all these different chaos pass plays. So I'll let you guys talk about it. I appreciate you.
Thanks, Brandon. I do agree. Heavier or larger emphasis on the run is definitely needed in 2026.
Well, when they start running football, I mean, that's when things start working and clicking. They started developing an identity. We could say it's the offensive line, but man, I think they made a conscious effort to make sure they were going to run the football under McCoy once he became the head coach and kind of settled in there after a couple weeks. After the bye week, they definitely were trying to run the football.
What do you think about him saying that he thinks Harbaugh's scared of playing against the Ravens? That's why he chose the Giants.
I don't think that's but I can see how he thinks that. But yeah, most coaches like, oh, okay, you fired me. How about let's just go right to the Browns? I think they want to compete. I think they offered the best deal, and that's why he's there. I think
it's by far and away the best deal. And I know that it says he didn't show any real interest in the Falcons. You only needed one other team to create leverage. Yeah. You didn't need 5 or 6 teams really to bid for you because you were probably already pretty close to the deal. You just need one team, threaten them with one team, and that really gets you right over where you want to be. You never take the first offer, and I'm sure he didn't, but he used the Titans to maybe make a second or third offer a little bit sweeter. and it could have been anybody. It could have been the Falcons. It didn't have to be the Titans. They were just the unlucky, unfortunate team at that point. But I definitely don't think, I do think that if the Steelers had probably called Harbaugh and said something, we'll give you this, this, and this, I think it'd have been over there. And he would have been playing the Ravens twice a year.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, I mean, just those coaches are competitive. I don't think they run from competition. So I don't think players do. I don't think, especially Harbaugh. I just don't think he's. I'm gonna show you. I still got the goods. Him hiring Roman. Well, at least that's what's rumored. It tells you that maybe they didn't want him to have Roman on the
Monken.
I mean Monken. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I said Roman. Roman was his first.
Yeah.
So maybe that was the case because he almost hired him immediately. At least that's what they're saying.
Yeah. All right, let's go to Luke. Luke, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Hey, what's up, guys? I hope you all are having a good day. Quick question. So right now, after the Giants select Harbaugh, there's 8 openings?
Yes.
Okay, so I would love McCarthy just because he's proven, but let me ask you this, about the people that are the naysayers. He went 12-5 3 years in a row with the Cowboys on a staff built by on a team roster, built by who? Jerry Jones. So you have to ask yourself, do you trust talent evaluation of Jerry Jones over, Borgonzi? And also, I like the idea of him being able to get somebody to run the defense. Y'all mentioned Raheem Morris. Another name that comes to mind of somebody that's currently in college but has done it at a high level is Matt Patricia. But my question is, would if Mike McCarthy came, it would be his offense, his plays. I know he wouldn't call plays, but would that put less of an emphasis on the OC? It could be pretty much anybody, and they can just run his playbook and his style while he coaches and builds this team. All right, that's my question. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Yeah, I mean, I find the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, like rotation, in and out because you lose them, to be kind of, I think it's an over-exaggerated point. And here's why, is because, okay, we know Matt Nagy's not calling the plays. But it's Matt Nagy's more than likely going to be offense or someone associated with Matt Nagy's offense with his heavy input if he were to be hired in this situation. Well, if your head coach, if your offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators are getting hired, that means you had a good year. Very rarely do head coach candidates from the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator position come from teams that are really, really bad or with losing records. So I don't know if it's, and so many of these offenses have a lot of overlap. I just don't know if it's that big of a deal anymore. I understand why people think that. I think I'm just on the fence where I'm like, on the side of the fence where it's like, I don't think it's as big as a deal as what people say. Now, what the issue is not the number of coordinators. To me, it's the quality of the coordinators. Because look at the Eagles, right? It didn't really matter who the coordinators were. They were pretty successful most of the time. Then you get Kevin Patullo in there who has no feel for the game and changes a lot of things up in a different way, and it's not the same. Now, Nick Sirianni probably should have put a stop to that. It probably should have had a little bit more heavy hand in that approach. If he didn't, maybe he did. But at the end of the day, it's really about the quality of the offensive coordinators, not the quantity of the offensive coordinators that I'm ever worried about.
Yeah, I think I probably would jump on that with you a little bit too. I would say also it's more the human element. And when I say that, I'm talking about new coach, new voice, new scheme. You got to get to know each other. That's not to say you can figure out. We saw Cam Ward, whether you're talking about in college or even within a season, he changed coaches multiple times. Now, is that exhausting? And do you wish you don't have to have that kind of hurdle all those years? But I don't think it's as big as people want to give it, but I think it's more about personalities, understanding. You can only watch so much tape and it only tells you so much. But when you're sitting down with a guy, like, what do you really like? When you're talking about the quarterback, you could say, oh, we ran this play all the time. I really wasn't a fan of it, but it did work at times. So to me, it's about leaning into what the quarterback really likes and doesn't like about his style of play and what fits with what you want to run. So that to me is more the issue than anything else.
For me, it's like when it comes to, let's say that you even bring in Robert Saleh, who brings in Mike McDaniel. Or sorry, not Mike McDaniel. Well, Mike McDaniel or Mike LaFleur. I was really thinking Mike LaFleur, but either of these will count. You hope that you find in that first year what works for Cam Ward, right? Because then once you know what works for Cam Ward, what he leans into and excels at, it's a lot easier to maybe find the next offensive coordinator if that guy gets a head coaching job, right? Because you know what you're looking for. We know this works. We know that he really excelled at this, and we scored a lot of points doing it this way. So I don't need to, just because you get a new offensive coordinator doesn't mean you have to switch an entire scheme.
Right, no.
And I think that's what people think, is that you're changing the scheme over and over, because we did see that sort of here with Marcus, but that's different head coaching regimes too. If you have the same head coach, you should have more than likely with the same similar scheme.
Well, that will depend also, what's the strength of the head coach. If he's more of a defensive-minded or offensive guy, was he in the meetings? Does he understand those little nuances that make this quarterback play at his best? You can talk about those things, but being in the meetings, and that's why a lot of the head coaches sit in different meetings throughout the season, whether it's O-line, D-line, and just to make sure everybody's on the same page. And he's on the same page with them, by the way. He's going around making corrections. He want to make sure you may understand all the schemes and systems, and he likes them, but are they getting taught the right way?
Yeah.
I don't think it's as big of a deal, but
it's all about the feel for the game. That's where Kevin Patullo fell short.
I think players are more ready with all the transfer portal.
Yeah.
Like you're getting coached by different coaches all over the place.
That's true.
All the time now. So it's kind of probably not as a mute point, but it is becoming that. Like I don't think it's as big of a deal from the time that when I was playing.
Right.
Yeah, which it was a big deal then.
Yeah, for me, it's all about, like I said, the feel for the game. Like you can also still be in the same scheme and have an offensive coordinator that does have the feel for the game.
Coaches don't have that
I know.
feel. You're making an assumption.
No, I'm saying that they don't. They may not. Like Kevin Patullo.
Right, but that's why the head coach, if he doesn't change, he must know
He's got to know it.
Yes.
And to me, it felt like Nick Sirianni did not know that in this instance with Kevin Patullo, whether or not he could really hold.
He was blinded because that was his guy.
I was about to say, I've heard that they're best buds. I don't know.
That's what people tell me. Well, that's what Ike Reese told me. Him and Hugh Douglas. So I was like, oh, he said, we just need a new OC. That's it.
Right. I mean, it's not as big of a deal as people make it out to be, but it's still very important. But I don't think it's really the number of coordinators is the quality of the coordinators that you hire.
I would agree with that.
All right, let's go to Mike. Mike, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Hey, good afternoon, guys.
What's up?
Good afternoon, Mike.
Hey,
this is Mike McCarthy. This is Mike McCarthy.
Right. Lifetime Bears fan, and just became a Titans fan, after moving here several years back. I was kind of going to touch on the same thing as the other guy from Chicago that transplanted, and then my other point was going to be what you guys actually organically touched on just a few minutes ago is, to get greatness out of a quarterback, it has to be a synergy of the offensive staff and that quarterback. They have to mesh together. I mean, you look at Belichick and Brady, you look at, Peyton Manning and Arians. I mean, it has to be the right fit. Whether that be Nagy, whether it be McCarthy, it has to fit for Cam, for him to reach greatness. So, and as far as Nagy and his history, being a Bears fan and watching that, he kind of came in with kid gloves with Mitch and then backed off, that first season and then tried to give him everything the next season, and that's when Mitch just kind of fell off. And like he said before, Mitch never really amounted to anything in any other team. So,
let me ask you something real quick, Mike, since you're a Bears fan. I mean, do you put the blame on Nagy for not realizing that maybe he was taking the wrong approach with Mitch that had been year 3 for Mitch, if I'm not mistaken? Or do you think that he took the right approach and just that Mitch Trubisky's just not an NFL quarterback?
Well, he failed too.
Yeah.
So my take on it is that Mitch just wasn't that level, and that was a failure on Nagy's part to notice that by year 3. But I think Nagy has learned since then, especially getting back to the Chiefs and working under Reed again. He learned from his mistakes, so I think he might be a good fit. But again, that's only if he's a good fit for Cam. Mm-hmm. There has to be a synergy there, otherwise we're not going to see the greatness out of Cam if it's there.
Gotcha.
So
there you go. Hey, appreciate it, Mike. Appreciate the insight. And I would agree. It's really tough because we only know Cam from what we've seen in pressers, what we've seen on the Tubi documentary, if everybody's watched that. 0 star to whatever it is. What was it called? 0 star to something or 0 to something?
Yeah, he gave a nice little shout out to us there at the end.
Oh, yeah?
You didn't watch it?
To us?
No. I mean, shout out. Just enjoy it.
I thought it was to us. I was like, man, I did miss that one.
You watched it?
No, it's just called 0 Star, the Cam Ward story. Yeah. So.
I thought it was like to us.
No, well,
I was like, man, I missed that.
Well, to the fans.
But again, we only know what we are allowed to know, I guess, in these situations. Because we're only allowed to see Cam Ward on the field, at practices, and press conferences. We don't see the day-to-day. We hear stuff about the day-to-day, but we don't see it. Oh. McCarthy, we have a pretty good idea of who he is, and he's been able to relate to Aaron Rodgers, been able to relate to Dak Prescott.
18 season in chat right here. 16 in the playoffs and 2 losing seasons and 1 Super Bowl.
I don't think that's right.
Is that true?
I don't think it's 16 seasons. No. He's had at least 3 losing seasons. So.
Okay. All right, Greg Burton, 7443.
I don't.
I was like, is that true?
It's been 18 seasons. I think we've done this before. He's made it 12 seasons out of the 18 seasons.
Oh, to the playoffs?
To the playoffs.
Okay.
Which is still impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, he's played in 22 games. He's 11-11 in those games with one Super Bowl.
You think he gets Stefanski to be an OC?
No.
He wouldn't do it? If he doesn't get a head coaching job.
I don't think that Mike McCarthy would. I would say Scott Tolzien becomes his OC. He's going to be the next Kellen Moore.
Oh.
Yeah. That's where because he helped to develop Kellen Moore. People forget he developed Kellen Moore as an offensive coordinator, play caller, who's now head coach. Yeah.
I like the way he was playing.
Now he obviously went to the Eagles afterwards, but he spent most of his coaching career at Dallas.
Oh,
so the coaching tree is Mike McCarthy.
Oh yeah, I like the way he was calling those plays versus the Titans.
Yeah.
Woo.
So I just want to throw that out there. But I don't. In my opinion, I think Kevin Stefanski could be the worst hire for the head coach out of all these guys not named Mike McCoy. Or all of the guys that are probably in serious consideration among fans. Because I just don't think his offense is going to fit Cam Ward. And I don't think he's going to be that willing to adapt.
What's his tree? But he came from
He came from the Kubiak tree.
Right, so that's run base.
Yeah, and he's only done one year as an offensive coordinator before he became a head coach. And then he was head coach of the Cleveland Browns the whole way through. And there's no time for him to really reflect and learn anything. I'd like to see him go to a different team first. I don't want to be his first stop. Because you could say with Matt Nagy, like the caller said, he probably learned some stuff at his second stint in Kansas City. I know that Robert Saleh has said that he's learned a lot in his second stint. And I know it's only been 1 year, but second stint. We think that Mike Vrabel learned a little bit from his stint in Cleveland.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's from here.
Yeah, from here to Cleveland. But, I mean, I'm talking about that one stop. He took a year off. A little bit of self-reflection.
You got to reflect.
Gives you more time for that is what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Like when you're bouncing around from job to job, you don't have the time to look back on things.
Yeah.
No doubt.
So
yeah, because I hear a totally different vibe from Vrabel at New England now compared to when he was
and
with
some
the
of that's
media,
just because he's in New England.
Yeah.
And he's a lot happier in New England than he was ever going to be here.
No, he was going to be happy here.
I'd like to have seen him be happy here at one point. But I do think that at the same time, I think that year off, because you saw him kind of running, having fun. He didn't have a lot of pressure at these Browns practices.
I know. He's still getting those cha-ching checks from Amy.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, like
Racing Jameis Winston
you get to see someone else do something, right? You see how someone else does something. You see how maybe you don't want to do what they did.
Well, it's not even just about them. If you're doing self-reflection, it should always be about you.
Well, it's a bunch of different things. I mean, is what I'm saying.
But you can see multiple ways. I don't mean that that's the way you're going to do it.
Right.
But I think mostly has to do with you. You're the one under control when you're the head coach, and some of the things that you felt like you needed to get better at, you could see way other people approach it, but if that's not your personality,
but that's what I was going to say is like, what I'm saying is
they don't resonate.
Maybe he looked at Kevin Stefanski and says, "Oh, okay, definitely not doing that."
Oh, he definitely was taking notes now.
Yeah.
Oh, there's no doubt about that.
That's what I'm saying. But I mean, it's all about how does what you learned in that situation apply to you?
Yeah.
And what you've learned maybe a year, a couple of months removed from your situation here. And I don't think there's been that time for Kevin Stefanski to really reflect on and say, man, maybe I was wrong in my approach. Because he is an under center guy. Like that is the offense that he wants to run is under center.
Well, he won't be here then.
And he's very rigid in that approach. And when he tried to run mainly a shotgun offense in year 3 of Deshaun Watson is probably too little too late to try to revive anything for Deshaun Watson, but it was an epic failure.
They're going into the offseason with Watson, Shador at 2, and Gabriel at 3. And they're not getting a quarterback.
Good luck to whatever goes on up in Cleveland. I am so glad I do not have to cover the Cleveland Browns. That's for sure.
Mary Kay Cabbage.
Yeah.
Don't have to live in Cleveland either.
Nope.
Say it every time.
Snow. Oh,
yeah.
Brutal.
Coming up next, we'll talk more and wrap up a little bit of Titans talk here on 104.5 The Zone. This is Cover 2 of Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone.
Well, the holidays are here, but we're still on air. But the holiday parties will still keep going. And guess what? I enjoy those holiday parties so much that I put on the holiday weight around the midsections. Well, that's where Edge Peptide comes into play. The approach to weight loss for Edge Peptide and hormone therapy is a little bit different. They make sure all the patients have extensive lab work and face-to-face conversations in office with our nurse practitioner to create a customized treatment plan tailored to your specific needs. They use only U.S.-based FDA-audited compounding pharmacies because knowing where your peptides come from always matters, yes. And Edge walks through the process, guiding your treatment, answering your questions, supporting you along the way. Also, Edge always uses the lowest effective doses to make sure that you are resetting your metabolic flexibility, not starving yourself day to day. You also get to lower your A1C, keeping your cravings in check, prioritizing protein, and having someone guide your journey from start to finish. So call the team today at Edge Peptide for all of your wellness questions at 615-724-1878. That's 724-1878 or edgepeptide.com.
Cover two, with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by all Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is numbered. Titans didn't do any interviews today.
They took a break.
They were hoping for John Harbaugh. They were flying up for some crab cakes. Crab cakes up in Baltimore.
Right. Instead, they went and
just stayed here. Had some hot chicken, probably. Just relaxed.
A surprise candidate.
Got to see their family. Maybe we'll hear about a little surprise interview today.
What's Amy doing up here now?
Maybe I'm sure maybe she's got some horses up here she's petting or something. I don't know.
Okay.
She's probably got horses everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But tomorrow they get back on the clock. Brian Daboll will be here tomorrow. Mike McCarthy will be here on Saturday. Then you have Jonathan Gannon will be here on Sunday, and then a virtual interview with Robert Saleh on Sunday, who has a game Saturday night. So you're going to get him right after a game, win or lose. You're going to see Robert Saleh.
Saleh McDaniel sounds like a good match.
I would love, and listen, I know that I've come off very lukewarm about Robert Saleh. I have a lot of concerns about some of these retreads. But a Saleh McDaniel combo, oh yeah. That would get the people going, I think.
It's provocative.
It is provocative, but I'm not sure how well it will work because, I mean, as good as Robert Saleh's defenses up there were in New York, Tennessee right now doesn't have that talent on defense that he had up in New York. A lot of first-round picks up there. Good little cornerback room.
But what's he doing with the team he has now? They don't.
Well, that's true, but that's when he was defensive coordinator, not head coach and play caller.
Oh my!
So I just get a little concerned.
Semantics there.
And where's all the speed for Mike McDaniel? I don't know where's all the speed here. He loves speed on offense. And he's got Chimere DK and Tajay Spears, which I think would go
really
gangbusters for sure. But where's the rest of the speeds? Now, I think Cam Ward would definitely fit in a Mike McDaniel system. But, gotta work with the pieces that you're given. You got a lot of money, a lot of salary cap. But the Titans are casting a wide net. And Andrew Brandt, who used to work in the NFL as a sports agent and stuff on the business side of things.
Oh, yeah.
You probably know Andrew Brandt, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, I do.
He recently was on the Ross Tucker podcast and talked about why every team should be casting a wide net like the Tennessee Titans.
Listen, I saw something that the Titans list is now burgeoned to 17 candidates. And I say absolutely. Good on you, Tennessee Titans. Everyone should be doing the same. There is no harm to casting as wide a net as possible in these NFL interviews. No harm. I don't see any downside. The people who rush to get it first usually don't get it right. There's the Rooney Rule. Listen, the worst thing that can happen if you cast a wide net is you waste a couple hours on somebody that you don't like. But you can gain valuable insights. You can pick their brains about their organization, about the way they do things. Try to gather best practices. I absolutely would use this time, if I was any of these 9 teams, to do a complete reset and cast a big net. There's no need for a head coach in football right now. There's no need. Maybe by the combine in a month. But even then, it's like, yeah, take your time. Take your time. Like, find the best candidate. Have second and third interviews. Bring in other people. But I'll get to the bring in other people in a minute. So, yes, good. Titans, to me, what I've seen lead the league in interviews, great. Good on you, Falcons and Titans. Falcons as well.
So there you go. I mean, nobody knows the business side of things better than Andrew Brandt. Mm-hmm. We also got a little bit of breaking news here. Not we don't need the sounder or anything, but Diana Rossini has reported just now the Tennessee Titans are set to wrap up their first round of head coaching interviews this weekend, with Robert Saleh scheduled as the final candidate. The team will begin its second round of interviews starting Monday. So the question then becomes, as we said on the top of the show, is Shula going straight to the second round? Are they going to fit the Shula virtual interview at some point? Because the game's coming up. Like, they're playing here soon.
Does the Shula fit?
Does the shoe fit?
You silly.
And what about Cliff Kingsbury? We haven't heard Cliff Kingsbury either. So are these interviews not happening at least in the very first round? But this sounds like second round starts on Monday. So we're getting closer and closer. And I know he said take your time. And that's what Andrew Brandt just said. But how patient are they actually going to be? Are they going to use all this goodwill?
Well, nobody else has hired any coaches but
That's
Harbaugh,
true.
so let's just see where we go.
And he did say the first team that usually fails, but Harbaugh's, I think, a different animal. I don't think he was saying that with Harbaugh in mind.
Mm-hmm. Well, I want to ask this question to both you guys, and if the fan base want to interact, I know we got a little bit of time, but off the cuff, wild card head coach pick. Nobody is on the list.
So nobody that's on the list.
Nobody. Just outside the box, wild card. Let's just bring him in for an interview. Let's see.
I'm going to go Adam Stanovich, the offensive coordinator of the Green Bay Packers.
I don't know. I don't know this teams like you, but outside the box. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, because I got one, but I don't think it's too much of a wild card.
Kurt Cincinnati.
Okay, I like it. I like it. That's a good wild card.
Yeah.
I'll say Dan Lanning. Just something out there. Something out there.
Okay, defense guy.
I like it.
Also,
Those are three good wild cards right there.
I don't know if y'all heard Marcus Freeman talk yesterday either, by the way, but it doesn't sound like he's completely out of
that was my outside the box in the beginning, but I didn't think he was. They said he's not.
Did they just report? I know they reported that teams were still interested, but I thought that they just reported that he's not interested, that nothing's going to happen.
He got an increase of paying $3 million. Now he wants $4 more. They promised him more.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but it just sounded. He said he did those interviews for himself, but it's to gain knowledge about these situations,
like taking the phone calls.
Maybe next year, I don't know. But
I would think so.
He definitely would. He would bring a little bit of excitement.
He brings that juice.
Yeah, I think so. I think he will be an NFL head coach here, if not next year,
Mario?
2 years. Yeah, Mario Cristobal would be a good dark horse. Yeah, I guess you could say either of the head coach guys of this college football playoffs. It will be interesting. It will be interesting. All right, that will do it for us. 3HL's coming up next. We had a great show today. We really appreciate it. Sorry, my condolences to everybody who thought the Harbaugh situation was going to pan out a different way, but my condolences.
Like the blind resume thing. That was good work.
Pretty good work. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
All right. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone. And in the meantime,
and in between time, peace.
No Harbaugh.